Hello and welcome to another episode of Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi Riff. I'm Mike Evans.
And I'm David Price.
And David, on this week's episode of Hi-Fi Riff, what are we going to be talking about?
It's the Cyrus Audio Classic Amp mic, or as you call it, the Mission.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. That's so embarrassing. It's only because I'm so used to it.
Yes.
Being Mission from, back in the day, when I said I really got into hi-fi, it was the Mission Cyrus 1.
Yes.
It's the one which I particularly remember. And the reason why is because it's sold by the bucket load. Yep. It was an incredibly popular little amp. It had an unusual form factor, which they've actually followed on really nicely with the Cyrus.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, well done.
Thank you very much.
First time today.
It is actually the first time today. You're quite right. But that's what I associate it with.
Yes.
Now,
so, by the way, do you know it's not 1984 anymore?
Well, I don't agree at all, and I'll tell you why it's not. I don't agree. Is because guess what I'm doing this weekend.
Playing golf?
I'm going to see a Rush tribute band. So it's definitely 1984.
What's it called?
The band is called La Villa Strangiato.
I beg your pardon?
Quite. Excuse me.
Say that again, Mike.
And I've had a T-shirt made for it. Would you like to see my T-shirt?
Oh, yeah, go on then.
I know you want to. I know I've got it here, look. This is the best T-shirt in the world ever. Okay, if it doesn't come through on camera, I might have to take a quick picture of it and post it.
Please don't.
So look at this. This is absolutely brilliant. One of my favourite Rush albums. Look, Hemispheres. There we go. Okay, and I don't know how well we can see this, but at 2 minutes and 36, there's a ting. There's a ting at 2:36. Look at that. That's the coolest T-shirt ever.
Ting.
That's exactly it. Yes, exactly it. Look, Rush fans, check that out. 2:36 on Hemispheres ting. Okay, very exciting. So we're back in 1984 again. All the 78 when Hemispheres came out, but similar thing.
Yes.
We digress.
Well, 84 would be Power Windows or Signals, just after Signals.
Oh gosh, so Moving Pictures Signals has just turned 40.
Yeah.
So it's literally 40.
Yeah.
Last week, I think.
Yep.
40th anniversary of Signals.
Power Windows was 85. Was it 83, 84, 85? I can't remember.
Oh gosh, no.
So,
what year are we in now? 83 was Signals.
Yeah.
So 84, would have been Power Windows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
there we are.
So hello and welcome to Hi-Fi Riff. We'll be reviewing the new Rush album, Power Windows, that's coming out next week, and Mike is listening to his Mission Cyrus 2.
I never had a 2.
Oh, okay.
Never had a 2. I didn't actually. I didn't have a 1. I did listen to the 1 regularly though. But
yes.
The Cyrus 2 was better.
It was better. Yeah.
Well,
I've got a Cyrus 2.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Have you?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my attic, along with most of the other hi-fi ever made in the world.
Yes, true. We'll have to do a riff on the Cyrus 2 in that case.
Absolutely.
But this one's really lovely. Actually, very impressed.
Yeah.
Been listening to this for a while now. The classic amp.
Yeah.
You nearly showed it the right way around then. Here it is. It's just a gorgeous little amplifier. The thing which impresses me the most is the bit which David is reluctant to show, which is the back panel, as always, being a socket botherer. At the back, it has unbelievable amounts of connectivity.
Would you like to show the viewers, Mike? Would you like to run your fingers along the RCA sockets?
Look at that, isn't it exciting? So I love this. This is the best thing ever. So what have we got? So we've got a moving, obviously your speaker outs. But you've got a
moving DAC input.
There's loads of DAC inputs. There's 4 DAC inputs.
Yes. There's
2 coaxials and two opticals, which is amazing.
Yep.
There's MC Bus.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Is that a rap artist from the early 90s?
It's Hammer's mate. Yes. So we've got preamp out, fixed out. We've got moving magnet phono stage, which is really, really cool.
Yep.
Then you've got 4 analog inputs as well. So tons and tons of stuff.
Yeah, and all the more surprising considering the very petite form factor.
I've just one of the feet's just fallen
Mike, you've
off.
just broken it.
Sorry, Cyrus.
Yeah,
I've just because the feet are adjustable. So I just
Well,
need
they
to-
are now.
Let me just screw them back in because that's embarrassing, isn't it?
So, yeah, there you go.
Talk
Okay.
amongst yourselves.
It's all right.
Yeah, so really nice. It also comes with a brilliant remote control,
Right.
which lights up when you go near it,
Okay.
which I really love as well.
Right.
But it's just a
Is
really
it,
nicely
is
made.
it only when you go near it, or is it when
it's
everyone
fine.
else goes near it as well?
I think it's just me, actually. I haven't been able to test it with anyone else. So
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
no, sure.
With a T-shirt like that,
My t-shirt's awesome.
no one's going to talk to you in the hi-fi pub with that T-shirt.
My t-shirt is legendary. I have you know.
Yeah.
I designed it myself.
You'd never know. You'd never know by looking at it, Mike. So.
Should we talk about this amplifier, or you just want to
Remind us
fixate on
who
my
the Rush
t-shirt?
tribute band are called again.
La Villa Strangiato.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
It's a track from Hemispheres.
All right.
Okay, it's the
Yeah.
last track on side 2.
Yeah.
It's about 19 minutes long.
And where are they from? Not Rush, but the tribute band.
Well, they're playing in Abingdon in Oxfordshire,
Right.
so I don't think they're from Canada.
Okay. From
So-
Abingdon in Oxfordshire,
Yes,
then.
they're definitely playing there.
Yeah.
So they may be from Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be quite
Yeah.
cool. Anyway,
Okay.
shall we do an amp review?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, this is great.
Yes, I know you love. Oh, look, you're on the Facia now.
This I am,
After showing
I am
everyone the
actually-
sockets.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. This is £2,000.
Yep.
So it does have some stiff competition at that price.
Yeah,
Okay. Get that completely.
Yep.
And look, what I would always recommend is audition it first.
Yeah.
And if you can with a decent deal, audition this against some of its competition.
Yeah.
But I think the party trick with the Cyrus is it has a built-in DAC. It's got pretty much everything you need to be a sort of one-stop shop to make everything happen. It sounds really good. It's got plenty of power.
Yes.
It's a nice amp. It's a
91 watts RMS into 6 ohms per channel.
Why are they measuring it in 6 ohms?
I don't know.
That's weird.
So
Why do they claim that in 6 ohms?
So that's exactly what I thought, actually.
Yeah.
Because normally you'd give it into 8 and into 2.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah.
I mean, it kind of maybe it sort of sounds more than. I mean, maybe if you give it the power into 8, then if you put it into 6, it's going to sound more, isn't it? So it's kind of a way of. I don't know. It's
No,
kind
I don't get it.
it's-
I don't get
it's
it
an
at
odd
all.
way, but-
no, it is strange.
Yeah.
But no, it's got plenty of power. Makes a really nice sound.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool. It's a really, really competent amp. The reason why I was never a huge fan of the Mission Cyrus one,
Yeah.
for me it was just a little bit shouty,
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
bright.
Yeah.
Personally, and apologies to the million people who went out and bought one. Don't wish any disrespect. These things are horses for courses, but this for me isn't like that. It's much smoother delivery. Feels like a grown-up big brother of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so there's been a long progression with Cyrus amps. So the original, I think the very first Mission amp was the 778. You may or may not remember, but that was... Sorry, let's qualify this. The first compact integrated Mission amp, because there'll be people in the comments going... But... So it was a 778. That was, as far as I know, a Stan Curtis design. And then roughly around, I think, 82, 83, the Mission Cyrus 1 and 2 came out.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And that was a Henry Asmer design. And he was the brother of Farad Asmer, who was running, who basically started Mission. And Henry Asmer, I remember having lunch with him probably about 15 years ago, and he said... and this was a long time after the original Cyrus 1 came out, he said, I remember that amp so well, I could write the circuit diagram on this napkin. And he got this kind of paper serviette and started writing it. So
I don't know very many people who are that sad in hi-fi.
He's a very talented guy, I think. But I do know one person who is that sad, apart from me.
Really?
I'm mentioning no names though at the moment.
Okay.
But there's at least one person I know who's that sad, apart from me.
Okay.
And it's not Henry Asmer. So
Well, we'll do a riff on them, because I can't believe there's somebody as sad as you.
well, get your CV ready, Mike. So anyway, as I was trying to say before I was distracted by my colleague here, yeah, the Cyrus 1 and 2, they were kind of iconic amplifiers of the early mid 80s, and they got better and better. And I agree with Mike The early ones were shouty. They were a bit shouty, especially the Cyrus 1. And then, of course, there was the sort of the split, as it were, when Mission split and Cyrus kind of, formed its own company, didn't it? Roundabout
Yes.
1990, the early 90s. And the next one was the Cyrus 3. And I bought one of those. I just started working for Hi-Fi World. And I really loved it. I thought the design was fantastic. And it's very similar to this. It's practically the same casework here and kind of visual look. The display's changed. I'm not sure if the feet fell off when when Mike touches them. Then may have had rubber feet, but they're very similar. And to me, that lost a bit of the kind of feistiness of the Mission Cyrus 1 and 2.
Sure.
But from then, the design's been refined and refined and refined, and now I think we've got something that almost has the best of both worlds. So it's fun, it's musical, it's rhythmic, but it's a little bit smoother. It's a lot smoother. It's not harsh like the very early Cyrus 1, I think.
No, sure. And in fact, we did a riff on the Cyrus CD player as well, which is the same form factor, and we loved that.
Yeah,
and in fact, I'm a bit sad that we didn't manage to hear the two together.
Yeah.
And do you remember the Cyrus CD player? We decided that it worked really well with music like Kraftwerk and Thomas Dolby, and anything which was sort of like with a sort of like a good pulsing rhythmic synth kind of bass line beat, and this is the same. This works brilliantly in exactly the same genre of music. So I'm wondering if there's someone there at Cyrus who has a sort of a love for that style of music, the sort of Pet Shop Boys kind of synth pop, which is all really well produced, and
or maybe the Ting on
the Ting on Hemispheres,
track.
exactly. But I think whoever is designing, he's just got a really good ear, and they seem to either that or they like the music I like. So which I think is great. Perish the thought.
So, but to me, I mean, if you compare that, the Cyrus to, for example, the Exposure 3510, I think the Cyrus is tonally thinner. I think it's not. It's basically more sinewy, and it's kind of tonally thinner. It's not kind of sweet and full and sort of chunky as the...
it's a little bit cheaper, a little bit... You can't say cheap with Hi-Fi. A little bit less expensive than the Exposure, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so hold that thought. Okay, and I'm going to give you this back. Okay, so you grab that. And it's got a party trick. It's got a party trick. And this is...
Why? Does it have a T-shirt?
This is... I do. This is the party trick. Okay. So this is... The power supply.
PSXR2.
The PSXR2, which is very boring at the back, unfortunately. But there we go. Because it's only got a lead, which you sort of plug in.
Which goes into here.
There's a socket in the back of the Cyrus. But this is the PSXR2. And obviously it's an external power supply as opposed to an external amplifier. And it takes over from the power supply in there. It's very clever how it works, actually. You plug it in and it senses it, and then it automatically fires it up when it's all connected. And this makes a big difference. This in fact, what I would say is if you have a Cyrus and you're a bit strapped for cash, don't listen to one of these, because you will want one, because it brings out everything, enhances everything in the classic amp. And look, I'm not going to talk in boring old hi-fi terms, but it just makes everything better. It just makes everything better. It's bigger. It's more detailed. It's blah, blah, blah.
It's gutsier, isn't it?
And all of those good things. All the stuff it should do, it does. Which is great. Here's my thing. Okay. This and that is $3,000. Okay. Now we're getting into proper territory, aren't we? Exposure 3510 pre-power, which we've done a hi-fi riff on. We've got various other amps. You're in a sort of different league of amps, and this is where I get a little bit confused. And I'll tell you why. Because the Cyrus i9, which is their flagship integrated, I think is a brilliant amplifier. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And we were at the Bristol show recently, Hi-Fi show, and I went into the Cyrus room, and I thought they were making one of the best noises I've heard in the whole of the show. And I had a chat with the guy. I said, "Well, that sounds great, lads. You know, what's driving this?" And he said, "That's the i9 amplifier, integrated amplifier."
Yeah.
And I was gobsmacked because they had a huge room,
Yep.
and I thought it was going to be, you know, their most expensive pre-powers and all this stuff, and it wasn't at all. It was just this i9, which is the same form factor as this, sounding amazing.
Yeah.
So look. I wouldn't buy I wouldn't buy these two together. I'd buy the i9 instead.
Yep.
So they're a bit sort of hoisted by their own petard, really.
Well, you could buy the classic amp to start with, then you buy the PSX-R2, then you go back to your dealer and trade the classic amp in for the i9,
Yeah.
which presumably works with the PSX-R2
No,
as
it
well.
has its own power supply.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And again, that takes that to another level.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
are you working for Cyrus? Are you part of their sales team here? Your commission?
What I would say is that the resale prices of Cyrus amps are very high. Aren't
They
they?
are.
Yeah.
They are.
So,
Yeah. And you wouldn't have any trouble moving on one of these power supplies, because if you've got a Cyrus amp, you really should have one of these.
Yep.
You know, it's really nice that it's got this upgrade path. I do love that. I love that fact. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And they sit really nicely together. They look really smart. But again, as I say, you know, if you can't afford it, don't listen to it.
Yep.
Because you'll want it.
Yep.
You will want it. It does take it to the, you know, to another dimension. And I love it. It's heavy, actually.
Yep.
Properly heavy.
Yep.
Heavy, big old transformer in there. So there we are.
Yep.
There's our Cyrus amps. I've listened to all sorts of music with them. As I say, it seems to have a particular love of synth pop,
Yep.
Thomas Dolby, Kraftwerk, all this kind of stuff. All good stuff.
Yeah.
But thoroughly enjoyed having these and reviewing these.
Yep.
I've used them with a few different speakers. At the moment we've got a pair of Falcon Acoustic LS35As. No problem driving those at all. Put them into my Saras, no problem at all. A couple of other things we've tried it with, but generally speaking, you know, very impressed.
Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, I'd say it's not the most muscular amplifier in terms of driving speakers. You know, the exposure, for example, is more muscular.
It is.
But it's still sufficiently muscular for pretty much any needs, unless you've got kind of crazy speakers.
Yes, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's probably the best way of putting it.
Yes.
And obviously the PSX-R2 really helps out with that low driving ability. So
I did actually try them with my quad electrostatics as well, and they made a sound, but it wasn't the greatest in the world. It just ran out of steam at that point. I felt like you needed something with a bit more grunt for those, but they're a little bit of an unusual speaker anyway. So, and I don't think that would be a classic combination. You wouldn't have too many people with a Cyrus classic amp and a pair of quad electrostatics. I don't think.
No, there are not many people like you, Mike.
No. Thank heavens.
In hi-fi terms.
Excellent. Let's do a riffometer.
Yep.
Out of 10, what are we going to give these?
It's tricky. I'm going to say 8.5, maybe even 9, but it's very, very nice amp. Really nice sound for a certain type of listener. In terms of out and out value for sort of, watts per pound, as it were, I think you can get slightly better. But then it has lovely operational sophistication. It's beautifully made. It's really flexible. It's very hard to mark down.
No, sure.
And I think your comment about the i9 is probably one of the best points against it. Really, should you save up for that?
Sure. And also the DAC is a little bit weak in it. The DAC's a bit of a sort of throwaway DAC. It's a bit thin. You want to upgrade that as well.
Yeah.
And again, the DAC in the i9 is better than seems to be better than the DAC in this. For whatever reason. So look, if this was the original Mission Cyrus one, then I'd be giving it a 5 or a 6 because it really wasn't quite my cup of tea. But I think this does a lot of things really well, and I do like the upgrade path because it is there.
Yep.
So I would happily actually give these a 9.
Okay.
Because I think this is a really, really solid, well-made amp, and the icing on the cake for me, the extra point, if you like, is when you turn it on, it says made in Great Britain. which is not.
Well, there you go.
And because they're made in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see these days, guys, and keep that up. So
absolutely.
Very good indeed. Very good.
Well, you've almost talked me into a 9, Mike.
If they were made in Wiltshire, you'd have given them a 9.5.
Without a doubt, 10.
Excellent. Move your factory to Wiltshire, and David will give you a 10.
Absolutely.
You heard it here first.
Absolutely.
Anyway, there we are. Cyrus, great. Thank you very much. Thoroughly enjoyed reviewing those. It's been brilliant. And we will very much look forward to seeing you all at our next episode of Mike and Dave's Hi-Fi Riff.
After the Rush concert.
After the Rush concert, and wearing my T-shirt in. Running my T-shirt in.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.